on, students in Inner Mongolia returned to schools and other educational institutions after a week-long fight against the curriculum imposed by China. Ethnic Mongolians fear that this will wipe out their culture entirely. Locals in China's Inner Mongolia have demonstrated for weeks and protested against the new bilingual education policy. The policy, according to them, is now endangering the Mongolian language. The new policy requires schools to use new national textbooks in Mandarin, replacing Mongolian language textbooks. It also affects the schools where Mongolian has been the primary language of instruction. Literature classes for students at the Mongolian language schools will now switch to a national textbook and be taught in Mandarin. Now, imposed from the new school term, the new rules dictate that history, politics and literature will also be taught in Mandarin now instead of Mongolian language. Mongolians feel that the new teaching policy will wipe out their native tongue by reducing the number of classes taught in their own language. As his son returned to school, an ethnic Mongolian father admitted defeat after days of fighting against this new curriculum.
In the past, Mongolian schools taught Mandarin from the 3rd grade, but now they straight up just unified national textbooks from the 1st grade. This is something we cannot accept. This will have a huge impact on our children's and future generations' language.
The crackdown has increased over the last few days, forcing parents to give in to this new policy. Armoured vehicles moved in to surround schools in Tongliao, a stronghold of resistance. Chinese police also offered bounties for people who have been accused of taking part in these protests in Inner Mongolia. In one district, authorities had put up posters of 129 protesters, and the police offered cash bounties for leads on ringleaders and publicized the arrests of dozens of suspects. Parents who refused to send their children back to school were threatened with layoffs, fines and students' altogether expulsion.
I heard the organizers of the protests have all been arrested. Now no one is organizing protests. Now every local government, schools and teachers are threatening Mongolian parents using various measures if they don't send their children to school. Little by little, parents are all sending their kids back to school.
Beijing's attempts are consistent with its policies in Xinjiang and Tibet, where the regime is trying to oppress the culture of the minorities by running a forced assimilation campaign. The interference in the curriculum aligns with remarks by Xi Jinping and that Mandarin language and its ability leads to greater prosperity for ethnic minorities across China. Inner Mongolia is home to around 4 million ethnic Mongolians who form around 16% of the region's population. It is the only place in the world still using the traditional Mongolian script. Rights organizations across the world have condemned China's campaign in Inner Mongolia. But much like in Xinjiang and Tibet, they have had no impact on the Chinese regime's policies.